I'm a little late with this because I just wanted to. I was watching highlights. I spent a lot of time watching highlights, and what a night, huh? What a night. The first night of the Stanley Cup playoffs is always special, and it was just amazing. But interesting enough, it was a tale of two conferences. I mean, the East series. Of course, I love the schedule that I've been seeing. I think starting last year, because it's an organized schedule. You got 4 game ones in day 1 and the others in day 2. And it's always one from each division. All 4 divisions are represented until the series get thinned out. But you have the Atlantic and the Metropolitan Series first, and then the Central Pacific after that. And the playoffs actually started with the first semifinal in the Metro, and it's the first semifinal because it involves the division winner, Carolina, and that in the Atlantic series, that was kind of quiet. Not a lot of goals in there. It was pretty much all about defense. And you pretty much knew who, and the winners were pretty much who was expected. Bruins winning game 1 over Florida, and Carolina winning game 1 over the Islanders. In the West, that's when things got interesting, real delicious. I watched those game 1s, and I saw game 1 was coming down to the wire tied. I go, you know, when I first see that for the first time in the playoffs, that's when I start beaming. Playoff overtime is coming, and it came. Both the West games went to overtime, so I was like completely excited because, again, this is the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's no 3-on-3. There's no shootouts. It's not 5-minute period. It's 5-on-5. 20-minute periods. The pluralization is if needed. And you play till somebody scores. That's it. And at the same time that overtime was commencing in the Dallas game, the Kings forced overtime. Kopitar put it in with about 16.7 seconds left to force overtime there. And interestingly, even though that Pacific Series, the second semifinal, was the last to start, it was the next to last to end because their overtime was 9 minutes before I scored. And I just have to point this out. It's amazing what hypocrites, what liars these Oilers fans are. Because, I mean, look what's happened. They've lost 5 straight playoff games. Okay? And this is the second. They've lost 3 straight playoff games at home. And this is the second straight playoff game where they had two goal leads in the third period and lost in overtime. And Oiler fans were pissy over calls against them that were correct. It was a high stick on their lead overtime goal, and Vincent and Darnay committed tripping. It was obvious. And he's going to jaw jack with the ref, and then Oilers fans are going to throw shit on the ice. And they threw shit on the ice again after I scored a power play goal. So to recap, Oilers have lost 5 playoff games in a row. They've blown leads and they bitch about officiating. But remember, people, it's only Avs fans who complain, and it's only the Leafs who choke. Oilers fans are so fucking delusional. And of course, the Central Series. As an Avs fan, I had to love that because these two teams were killing each other. And it was Ryan Hartman who was injured in that game. Who got the overtime winner? It was 12:20 into period number 5, meaning it was 32 minutes and 20 seconds into overtime. That until Ryan Hartman put it in. And of course, day one last year's playoffs, we got a multi-period overtime, but that was the only one we got. Hopefully, we get a few more. But yeah, so recap: the Bruins, the Hurricanes, the Wild, and the Kings all won, and what a day one it was. And it's going to be very interesting from this point out. So that is my recap of the opening day of this year's playoffs. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe if you want more tomorrow. And well, I say tomorrow, but it technically is Tuesday. The other game one start in day 2. Devils Rangers from the Metropolitan. From the Atlantic, Leafs and Lightning. From the Pacific, Vegas and Winnipeg. And from the Central, it begins. I got my 2022 shirt on because, well, let's face it, I just want to show who the current head of the table is. And we begin to defend our throne with game 1 against the Kraken. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be so awesome. So, again, if you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe. If you want more, I'll be back to recap day 2's action after it ends. So stay tuned.